Evacuations are underway in Florida as Hurricane Helene inches closer to the Florida coast, gaining strength and is expected to hit as a Category 3. Now, that is powerful. It's already taken a swipe at parts of the Caribbean as the storm moves past Mexico towards the U.S. Gulf Coast. If you're a snowbird making plans to head south, you'll want to pay close attention to this possibly devastating hurricane. CTV's Joy Malbon is here with the preps and anticipation building in the U.S. Joy.
Sandy, now that this storm is a hurricane, it is moving and moving fast toward the U.S. Gulf Coast.
Already on track to become the strongest hurricane to hit America in more than a year, Helene lashed Mexico's coast, crashing into Cancun and barreling towards Florida. Millions of people are in its path as thousands of Floridians have already been forced to evacuate in low-lying areas.
A mandatory evacuation.
At least 61 counties are now under a state of emergency. Tampa's airport suspended operations as Florida's governor warns residents time is running out.
You can hide from the wind, and there will be significant wind on this storm, but you got to run from the water. If you do have a major surge and you stay behind, that is potentially hazardous.
This satellite map shows just how big this storm has gotten, a massive, sprawling monster gaining strength in the warm water.
We have to do something about climate change, because if we don't, there will not be a tomorrow.
Residents in Tampa furiously filling sandbags, expecting the worst, as forecasters warn Helene could become a Category 3 hurricane before even making landfall along Florida's Big Bend coastline in the north.
I'm worried about the storm surge, the water that could be 4 to 8 feet in my house, and I lose everything.
Florida's governor has activated the National Guard, emergency workers, and 20,000 electric linemen on standby, bracing for power outages that could last a week.
President Joe Biden wasted no time declaring an emergency in Florida, authorizing disaster relief efforts. This storm is so wide that states like Georgia, even North Carolina, have declared emergencies too. Sandy?
Okay, Joy, thank you. Let's bring in CTV Chief Atlantic meteorologist Kaylin Mitchell, who's tracking Helene. And Kaylin, show us where this huge storm is headed.
Thank you, Sandy. Well, Helene carries on as a Category 1 hurricane past the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico into the Gulf of Mexico, where it is expected to further strengthen because it's over some very warm waters and into a very favorable wind environment. In fact, Helene is expected to get up to a major Category 3 hurricane before making landfall in the Florida Panhandle Thursday night. With that state and other parts of the southeastern United States being in the direct path of this powerful storm, hurricane and tropical storm warnings have been issued, with the hurricane warnings in an area from just north of Tampa all the way up towards Tallahassee and even southern areas of the state of Georgia. Now, the greatest threat of storm surge is going to be right around the Big Bend area of Florida, where some of the water inundation could come up above 2.7 meters or over 9 feet. The other water hazard will be extensive, heavy inland rain stretching from the Florida Panhandle into parts of Alabama, Georgia, even areas of the Carolinas and Tennessee. Some of those rainfall totals could be 100 to 300 millimeters. Sandy.
Okay, CTV's Kaylin Mitchell.